Hey YouTube, Florida Stacker here with you today, and today I want to talk to you about Uranium Energy Corp, stock ticker symbol UEC on the New York Stock Exchange, and why after some thorough investigation I'm bullish on both the uranium industry as well as this emerging US mining company. As a reminder, I am not a financial advisor and nothing presented here today should be considered as financial advice. However, I like to take deep dives into asset classes and companies and report back what I find here on my YouTube channel. So, what is Uranium Energy Corp and what do they have to offer the world? Well, Uranium Energy Corp is a US based uranium mining and exploration company. In short, UEC is responsible for finding and extracting uranium and offering the element to the growing US nuclear energy industry. The company's operations are managed by professionals with a recognized profile for excellence in their industry, a profile based on many decades of hands-on experience in the key facets of uranium exploration, development, as well as mining, of course. UEC currently holds $61 million in cash, 1.4 million pounds of uranium on its books, and is also developing the largest uranium production facility in the United States in order to meet future demand requirements. So if you're a subscriber to this channel, well, you know that I'm not a financial advisor by trade, but what I am is blunt, fair, and I like to call things as I see them. Now, the good folks over at Uranium Energy Corp asked me to look into their company, and if I liked what I saw, they'd sponsor this video. I looked at two other companies prior to this and decided not to cover those companies for various reasons. I do take my time, and after doing my own due diligence, I realized the opportunity to get in on uranium price recovery with UEC and have this presentation to share with you today. So in doing my homework, I had to understand the product and why is uranium in demand. Uranium, of course, is the primary fuel for nuclear power, and nuclear power is the second largest source of carbon-free power generation in the United States. U.S. uranium output has fallen dramatically over the last decade, while U.S. demand for uranium has increased. So basic supply and demand economics are also at play here. Green energy is also in demand, and for the first time in 48 years, the Democratic Party supports the advancement of nuclear energy. This is bullish news for UEC and the uranium industry. So uranium spot price sits currently just below $30, which is up over a 5-year range on the noted increased demand and restrictions in place to purchase uranium from countries such as Russia. So it's how should I say, more readily available to purchase here in the United States now thanks to that legislation. So let's talk about uranium uses and why it is such an important energy element for the future. Well, uranium is the 92nd element on the periodic table and is the heaviest naturally occurring element on Earth. It is known for being an abundant source of concentrated energy with the largest energy density of any of the world's fuels used for the generation of electricity. Uranium is found relatively commonly on Earth and is actually more common than gold. It is also as common as tin and slightly less common than copper. So 99.3% of the uranium found on Earth is uranium-238, which is fertile, while the rest is uranium-235, a fissile fuel. Therefore, only a few small amounts of uranium found naturally can be used in nuclear fission processes, right, to generate electricity, unless, of course, the uranium undergoes an enrichment process. So where does UEC come into play to meet America's growing energy requirements? Well, UEC's business is mining, processing, and storage solutions for uranium, pure and simple. UEC uses a mining technique known as in situ recovery, or ISR. This entails leaving the ore where it is in the ground and recovering the minerals from it by dissolving them and pumping the pregnant solution to the surface where the minerals can be recovered. Consequently, there is little surface disturbance and no tailings or waste rock generated in this process. Using this method, UEC can mine for uranium in a much more environmentally friendly way without risk for groundwater contamination. UEC also purchases uranium on the open market and holds the uranium for future use while they pursue their own exploration and extraction projects. We'll talk about some more recent actions that UEC has taken to build up their stack of uranium while spot prices are low coming up. UEC buys uranium at prevailing spot prices below the global industry mining cost, keeping their operating costs lower while still being able to meet customer requirements now as well as into the future. It's also important to note the existence and use of historical exploration databases. Uranium Energy Corp has been able to target properties for acquisition that have already been the subject of significant exploration and development by senior energy companies in the past. Uranium Energy Corp is well positioned to capitalize on the world's overwhelming demand for more uranium, for more energy, for cheaper energy, and for cleaner environment through their acquisition projects. So as mentioned, UEC operates in North America and has several project locations, namely in the southwestern United States. The company has focused its property acquisition program primarily in the U.S., in the states of Texas, Wyoming, New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado. This region has historically been the most concentrated area for uranium mining in the United States. Similar to other forms of energy, America has long relied on imports of fossil fuels and even uranium to power its plants in the past. That isn't the case with UEC, as they are growing their business to include mining and processing, and doing all that here in the United States. So let's quickly look at some recent events for the company. All right, so UEC announced on March 22nd that the company had issued 10 million shares of common stock in the company for sale. However, it is important to note that all 10 million shares were offered and sold to certain institutional investors who are holding or hodling the stock, and they did not sell these on the open market. The offering provided $30,500,000 in capital, as each share was sold for $3.05. UEC engaged in this order to purchase additional uranium on the open market and to hold that uranium to meet future demand, as well as capitalize on lower spot prices today as compared to the overall direction of the industry. UEC also announced on March 17th that it had secured 800,000 pounds of additional U.S. warehouse uranium, consisting of 500,000 pounds for an April delivery and 300,000 pounds for a December delivery, including the previously announced acquisition of 400,000 pounds at a volume-weighted average price of $28.94 per pound. They also made mention of the impeding financing through the issuance of more common stock, which we just covered. All right, so the future looks bright for nuclear energy, and uranium is the fuel that makes it all happen. So now let's take a look at the company a little closer as a potential investor. So a quick glance at UEC financial picture here, and you'll see the company held $61 million in cash and an additional $31 million in equity of Uranium Royalty Corp, ticker symbol URCCF, as of March 19th, 2021. 250 million shares of the company have been issued to date. Around about 30% of those shares outstanding are held by institutional investors such as BlackRock, Vanguard Group, and Fidelity, all big names in the financial industry. Also, short interest right now currently sits at 8.69% of float, which isn't high enough for long-term investors to truly worry about the shorts. So now let's take a look at the charts, all right? Let's take a look at the charts and see the price action over the last year for UEC stock. So here we look at the daily chart for UEC over the last year, and a quick glance from left to right, it is clear that UEC has had a great year when it comes to capital appreciation. I have included the blue dashed trend lines. Those are trend lines that I put in there, which I use for making entries and exits out of stocks that I trade to make for a profit. All right. Shares of UEC were trading slightly below $1 this time last year, and as of March 24th, close of day, the shares are now trading at $2.65. As you can see, share appreciation really took off on high volume buying in mid-December. It did hit a high of $3.67 at the beginning of March, not that long ago. The chart indicates that slightly more selling than buying is currently taking place. This is likely due to profit taking from the share price epic run well above $3 earlier this month. I do fully expect the price to consolidate around the $2.40 to $2.80 range over the next couple of weeks before continuing forward with the trend and rising to new highs by the early summer. I will be looking to buy shares of UEC from my own brokerage account within the next couple of weeks. I'll continue to watch the charts for that right opportunity to take that long position. The RSI currently shows 56, which indicates the trend is currently middle of the range, especially of late. That opportunity to buy, however, will be coming soon, I expect. The MACD shows a similar picture, with the MACD just now crossing the signal line, and that is a strong indicator that a buying opportunity may be approaching. All right, so let's move quickly to the analyst price targets and close up with my final thoughts here on Uranium Energy Corp. So analyst coverage of UEC is fairly light. After all, it is a small company in a small sector of the overall large energy sector. However, the two analysts who do cover UEC both currently rate the company a buy and have established a price target in the super tight range of $3.60 per share. If that price were to be realized, then shares of UEC would be worth 36% more than they are today this time next year. And if you remember the trend lines of the previous charts, you can see we are marching in that direction. All right, so my final thoughts on UEC. So UEC is positioning itself to be a leader in the industry. Spot price of uranium is down drastically over a 10-year time frame, and that recovery in spot price did begin around about last year. While I don't know what will happen in the future, I believe that this is, in my opinion, why UEC is raising capital right now in order to acquire already mined uranium on the open market to hold, while also investing in their own production opportunities to meet future demand. The market environment is favorable for green energy, and nuclear energy is green, and it is also growing. The price volatility of a company such as UEC is high. So for those of you who like to invest without a lot of volatility, this may not be the company for you. You got to think risk reward with a company like this, and there is risk in the opportunity for more reward. However, if you believe that the US will continue to pursue clean energy and that nuclear has a role in that, then this year may be a great opportunity to get in on a company like UEC while the spot price of uranium remains historically low in contrast to years gone by, with increasing demand now. I also like that UEC is an American company with operations primarily in the United States, unlike gold or diamond mining as an example, which largely takes place in less politically stable environments, which does increase risk to a mine's productivity as an investor. I don't have to worry about that with UEC. So those are my thoughts. I think it is an interesting company that offers opportunity to get in low and ride the increased demand for nuclear energy worldwide with a company that is built and operated right here in the United States. I'd like to thank all of you for watching today's video, and I do encourage you to both like, share, and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something, and I definitely think that UEC, Uranium Energy Corp, is a great company to look at as a potential investor. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon on another video.